While the warm weather is wonderful, hot, sticky nights can be particularly difficult if you have a baby or young child. The first thing that you should look into doing is getting a fan for your little one's room. Use it on oscillate mode, which is the mode where the fan turns from side to side, because this will circulate the air around the room. If you haven't got a very cool room, then filling a bowl with ice water and putting it directly in front of the fan will mean that the air that's circulated is picked up from that melting ice and it will cool the air. It's very effective and obviously free to do so. Make sure that if you have a young baby, then you don't point the fan directly at their cot, but rather circulate the air around a different part of the room, because we don't want them getting too cold, especially as they cannot regulate their temperature. Before bedtime, give a tepid or lukewarm bath. It's best not to give a cold bath to your baby because, as I just said, they cannot regulate their body temperature, but also even for older children, because actually when we have a cold bath and then we get out of the bath into a warm environment, it makes us feel warmer. So if you do just a warm kind of room temperature bath, then it won't heat up your child while they're in the bath, but it will mean that when they step out, they actually feel a little bit cooler rather than the other way around. You can also give them some free air time without clothes after the bath too, to help them cool down before you put them into bed. Then think about how you're going to dress them. So I would advise using a 0.5 tog sleeping bag. These are excellent for warmer weather and they're very, very thin. Imagine a thin sheet on the bed. That's the thickness of a 0.5 tog sleeping bag. And then you can either dress them in nothing underneath except a nappy, or you could just use a short-sleeved vest. If it's very, very warm, you may want to forego the sleeping bag altogether, but some babies like to have something around them, which is why I mention it. Certainly mine don't like to sleep with no sleeping bag, and it makes their nights a little bit more disturbed. So you know your baby best and what will work for them. Make sure that you keep the curtains and blinds in your house, and particularly your baby's room, drawn throughout the whole day to not let any light in. That's because it will instantly heat up the room and make it a lot warmer. So you need to try, if you can, to throw open the window first thing in the morning before the sun comes round to get a little bit of cool, fresh air in, and then draw the curtains and blinds for the rest of the day, only opening them again in the evening when the sun has moved back round. I will add an advisory warning to this, and it's if you have one of those blackout blinds that sticks to the window, a travel grow blind, then just be careful, because they can make the glass heat up a lot and that can actually cause the glass to crack. So just bear in mind that if you have one of those blinds. Your baby will have a more disturbed night potentially when it's hot or warm weather, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is that it's hot and temperature can be one of the main factors in babies waking up at night. So you need to work out whether they're too hot or whether you're dressing them for the hot weather, and then if they're waking up around 3 or 4 a.m, that's when the temperature naturally drops. So that might indicate that actually they're getting a little bit chilly. So you might need to factor that in, put a little cellular blanket over them when you go to bed late at night, or dress them slightly more warmly to go to bed so that they don't wake up at that 3-4 a.m. mark. Make sure that you don't dress your baby too warmly for bed, because it can be dangerous for them to overheat. So always err on the side of caution and go for the cooler option if you can. The second reason why they're waking up a lot is because they're thirsty. We wake up a lot when it's hot weather because we want to have a drink, and we often have a glass of water or a bottle of water next to us. Of course, for our babies, it's not that simple. They may be waking up more frequently for a feed, and that can be breast milk. If you're breastfeeding, you do not need to give them anything other than your wonderful breast milk, because it will adapt to make your baby more hydrated. If you are formula feeding, then you can give them formula throughout the night, but just be aware that during the day they might want a little top up of water if it's a particularly warm and hot day. Just don't let that override the milk, because of course they need that for the calories and the nutrients. If you want to give water, then do cooled boiled water If they're under 6 months, if they're over 6 months, it can be water straight from the tap as long as you're in a country where that is safe to do so. If you're in the mood for more hot weather tips for your baby, then check out this video here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more, and I will see you all soon. Bye everybody.